sailors are paying premium prices for Dutch sailboats that look decades behind modern designs. Heavy steel hulls, conservative rigs, and hulls that prioritize beam over sleekness. At first glance, these boats seem stuck in the 1970s. But once you understand engineering, it all makes sense. While most production boats chase lighter weight and faster speeds, Dutch builders like Bestevaer, Koopmans, and Contest are doing something different. They're building sailboats that quietly dominate blue water cruising, while flashier boats stay tied to docks or get sold after a season. These aren't trying to win races. They're built to survive in the oceans. The difference becomes obvious the moment you look at construction. Where modern production sailboats use lightweight fiberglass and foam cores, Dutch builders start with heavy steel plate, 5 to 8 millimeters thick for the hull, 6 to 10 millimeters for the keel structure. It's substantial, traditional, and completely intentional. That steel construction isn't a compromise. It's a choice based on decades of serious offshore experience. When you're anchored off a remote Pacific island and hit submerged debris, you can weld a steel hull. Try that with fiberglass sandwich construction. You'll be calling for expensive repairs or worse, abandoning your journey entirely. Dutch sailboats do what modern production boats struggle with. They survive anything, sail anywhere, and provide the kind of comfort that makes long-term cruising actually livable. No fragile carbon components, no lightweight systems pushed beyond their limits, and no design decisions made purely for marina aesthetics. These boats represent something increasingly rare in today's boating market. Restraint, purpose, and engineering focused on real-world use rather than marketing trends. That's why serious cruisers keep choosing Dutch steel, paying the premium, and sailing these boats for decades, while lighter, newer boats have already been abandoned or scrapped. The Netherlands has been building ships for centuries. Long before fiberglass existed, Dutch yards were engineering vessels for the North Sea, one of the most punishing sailing environments on Earth. That heritage didn't disappear when recreational boating arrived. It evolved into a specific philosophy about how sailboats should be constructed. Steel became the material of choice for a reason. It's not nostalgia or tradition driving this decision. It's practicality. Steel hulls can be repaired anywhere with basic welding equipment. Hit a reef in the South Pacific, and a local welder can patch you up. Damage a fiberglass hull in the same situation, and you're looking at weeks of epoxy work or worse, abandoning the boat entirely. Dutch builders use TIG welding to join steel plates with precision. The hull typically measures 5 to 8 millimeters thick, while keel structures run 6 to 10 millimeters or more. These aren't thin shells relying on internal frameworks. This is real plate steel, welded into a continuous structure that distributes impact forces across the entire hull. That thickness matters in ways that aren't obvious until you're offshore. A floating container, a half-submerged log, or a coral head that wasn't on the chart. These are real threats that end cruising dreams. Steel absorbs these impacts. Fiberglass shatters or delaminates. There's another advantage that came from necessity. Dutch boats were originally designed for shallow canals and tidal waters, which led to designs with manageable draft. That same shallow draft now lets these boats explore anchorages and coastlines that deep-keeled racing boats can't access. Bahamian banks, Pacific atolls, rivers throughout Southeast Asia. The Dutch hull goes where others can't. Yes, they're heavier. That's not a compromise, it's a choice. The weight provides stability, reduces violent motion in rough seas, and creates momentum that carries through waves rather than bouncing over them. Everything about steel construction exists for a reason, and nothing feels unnecessary. What really sets Dutch sailboats apart isn't just the steel construction. It's the philosophy behind every design choice. These boats are built wide, what sailors call beamy. That extra width creates two advantages at once: First, it provides stability in rough weather, keeping the boat more upright when waves hit from the side. Second, it opens up massive space below deck without making the boat longer or harder to handle. The rig design follows the same thinking. Conservative sail area, heavy-duty hardware, and multiple backup systems. Dutch boats aren't trying to squeeze every bit of speed from the wind. Instead, they're designed so a couple can manage a 45-foot sailboat safely, even in challenging conditions. The sails are sized for real people, not racing crews. Underneath, you'll find long keels and full displacement hulls. These create directional stability, meaning the boat wants to track straight rather than wander. In heavy weather, that translates to less work at the wheel and more confidence in rough seas. The hull shape also reduces violent rolling motion, which matters enormously when you're living aboard for months or years. Are they slower than lightweight racing boats? Yes, and that's intentional. Speed was traded for safety, comfort, and ease of handling. No lightweight racing systems that break under stress. No fragile carbon components that require expert repairs. No design compromises made just to look good at the marina. Dutch boats balance themselves naturally under various wind conditions. Many can self-steer for hours with nothing more than sail trim adjustments. This isn't advanced technology. It's fundamental hull design done properly from the start. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Dutch sailboat design represents something rare. Every choice serves long-term cruising. Every system prioritizes reliability over performance. Numbers. It proves you don't need speed to have real capability. You need intelligent engineering. Step inside a Dutch sailboat, and that beamy hull design immediately reveals its purpose. The interior feels spacious without being oversized. Room to move, room to store gear, room to actually live rather than just sleep between sails. This is where intelligent design becomes tangible. Dutch builders are known for exceptional joinery work. Teak and mahogany cabinets fitted with precision you'd expect from fine furniture, not production boats. Every locker closes tight, every drawer slides smooth, and everything is built to last decades of constant use. This isn't cosmetic woodwork. It's structural and functional. The layouts prioritize long-term living over racing efficiency. Galleys feature deep sinks that won't spill in rough seas, gimbaled stoves that stay level when the boat heels, and actual counter space for meal preparation. Storage isn't an afterthought. Deep lockers provide space for months of provisions, while accessible tank bays make maintenance simple rather than impossible. Water capacity alone reveals the design intent. Many Dutch boats carry 500 liters or more, sometimes exceeding 800 liters on larger models. That's weeks of self-sufficiency without rationing or constantly searching for water sources. Generator compartments, extensive electrical systems, and proper battery banks support systems you'd find in a small home. There's dedicated workshop space, room for tools, spare parts, and the equipment needed for repairs at sea. This matters because Dutch boats are designed to be maintained by their owners, not returned to yards for every minor issue. Climate control is built in from the start. Proper insulation, diesel heating systems, and ventilation designed for all weather cruising. These boats handle tropical heat and high-latitude cold, without depending on marina power. Companies like Bestivar and Koopmans design interiors, where everything is accessible and serviceable. Nothing is hidden behind permanent structures. Everything is built around one idea. This boat will be lived on, not stored away. The real proof isn't in specifications or marketing claims. It's in what these boats actually do. Dutch steel sailboats dominate the bluewater cruising community. Check any anchorage in the South Pacific, the Caribbean, or remote corners of Indonesia, and you'll find them. Many have completed multiple circumnavigations. Some have been sailing continuously for 30 years or more. There are documented cases of Dutch boats hitting reefs rocks, and submerged debris, then being welded back together in remote villages with basic equipment. One Best of Air owner repaired major hull damage in Fiji using a local welder and basic steel plate. The repair held through another ocean crossing. Try that with a fiberglass production boat, and you're calling for a salvage crew. The resale market tells the real story. 30-year-old Dutch steel boats sell for strong prices, often close to their original cost when adjusted for inflation. Meanwhile, 15-year-old production fiberglass boats are being scrapped or sold for parts. The market recognizes lasting value. These boats sail everywhere, including conditions most cruisers avoid. High-latitude passages, Arctic waters, Southern Ocean crossings. The steel construction and conservative design handle extreme weather that would destroy lighter boats. All-season capability isn't marketing language. It's proven reality. Parts availability makes long-term ownership practical. Dutch boats use standard marine systems, not proprietary electronics that become obsolete in 5 years. Any competent marine mechanic can work on them. Replacement parts are available worldwide because the components are industry standard, not brand specific. The initial price premium makes sense when you consider ownership over decades. You're not replacing systems every few years or dealing with structural failures. The boat appreciates or holds value instead of depreciating rapidly. That's why serious bluewater sailors keep choosing Dutch steel. Not because it's trendy, but because it works. Year after year, ocean after ocean. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Dutch sailboat design reveals something about priorities. It's Dutch pragmatism meeting centuries of maritime experience. Every design choice serves long-term cruising, and nothing exists just for appearance or marketing appeal. This is engineering with restraint and purpose. Modern boat building has followed a different path. Lighter, faster, cheaper. Production boats are designed to sell at boat shows, not survive decades at sea. They prioritize initial purchase price over lifetime cost. They chase performance numbers that matter in racing but mean nothing when you're weathering a storm 3 days from land. The premium for a Dutch steel boat makes sense when you understand what you're actually buying. You're not purchasing a depreciating asset that needs constant upgrades and eventual replacement. You're buying once. One boat that will carry you anywhere for as long as you choose to sail. That creates a different kind of freedom. The confidence to point toward any horizon without wondering if your boat can handle what's out there. Remote anchorages, challenging weather, years away from boat yards. Dutch steel doesn't just survive these conditions. It's built specifically for them. This isn't just a sailboat. It's a tool for maritime freedom, engineered properly from the start. And in a world of disposable boats designed for weekend sailors, Dutch steel stands as proof that the smartest designs simply work, decade after decade. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, Dutch sailboat design reveals something about priorities. It's Dutch pragmatism meeting centuries of maritime experience. Every design choice serves long-term cruising, and nothing exists just for appearance or marketing appeal. This is engineering with restraint and purpose. Modern boat building has followed a different path. Lighter, faster, cheaper. Production boats are designed to sell at boat shows, not survive decades at sea. They prioritize initial purchase price over lifetime cost. They chase performance numbers that matter in racing, but mean nothing when you're weathering a storm 3 days from land. The premium for a Dutch steel boat makes sense when you understand what you're actually buying. You're not purchasing a depreciating asset that needs constant upgrades and eventual replacement. You're buying once. One boat that will carry you anywhere for as long as you choose to sail. There's also a community aspect worth mentioning. Dutch steel boat owners form tight networks, sharing information about yards, modifications, and cruising routes. They help each other with technical advice and often crew together on longer passages. This isn't brand loyalty, it's recognition that these boats attract a certain type of sailor. People who value preparation over speed, who plan for years at sea rather than weekend trips. The builders themselves remain small operations, often family-owned yards that have been constructing boats for generations. They're not trying to maximize production volume or cut costs to compete with mass-market manufacturers. Each boat receives individual attention, and many are semi-custom, tailored to specific owner requirements, while maintaining proven design principles. If you found this interesting, make sure to like the video. Share it with anyone into serious cruising, blue water sailing, or smart boat design, because this is engineering most sailors never learn about. And if you enjoy content like this, subscribe for more deep dives into maritime engineering and gear that actually stands the test of time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.